Roll Tide, but yeah.
Hey, hey, what up, what up, what up?
Software.
A type voice creation.
Hey, hey. Roll Tide back, yeah, we ride from the dust. Go stepped out, they were praying we bust. 10 wins later and we still in the hunt. SEC title game, yeah, we back up front. They said we dead, but the tide don't drown. We reload quick, hold, stay, hold it down. Tuscaloosa build different legends in the clay. Haters talk loud, but they never won't play. First round here, let the world in the trance. Mouth wide open like they caught in the stands. Thought we were broken, thought we were done. And the tide rolled in and the scoreboard spun. Mind left blank, whole crowd in the freeze. We do what we do, make giants to their knees. Haters pray hard for the tide to fall flat, but the tide rolls up. Now imagine that. Now imagine that. But the tide rolls up. Yeah, we the school with the rings, with the Lord with the crown. Walk in the room and the whole place bound. From Brian to Saban, the dynasty life. New era, ain't smoke, we forever gon' thrive. We built on grit, on blood, on pride. On Saturdays, the host I ride with the tide. Haters wanna doubt, but they never learn enough. Alabama football, we invented tough. Hey, hater, what up? Why you looking so stressed? Your team on vacation, we're still getting blessed. You scrolling through your phone, trying to find who to blame. Yeah, yeah, but your squad tapped out, they ain't built for the game. Yeah, yeah, you talk about next year, talk about next team. But the tide in your head like a permanent dream. Fix your buzzer, Roger, fix your we look crook of the tide. Ain't worried, we do what we do. We shot the world once, we shock it again. Every season reload, every season we win. You can hope, you can pray, you can wish for our fall. But the tide roll heavy, we don't listen at all. We the standard, the blueprint, the code. Every hate in the south know the legend we wrote. So keep talking that talk, keep hoping we slip. But the tide stay ready, hold stay, don't drip. Hold stay, don't drip. Why you mad we back up? What up? Get em broke time. Why you mad we back up? What up? Get em broke time. But the tide just showed up. What up? Get em broke time. You were praying we fold up. But the tide done showed up. Now the whole damn south done blowed up. What up? Get em broke.
Hey man, let's keep it going and growing. And remember, folks, if I successfully stimulate the happy juice in your gray matter and make your funny bone jiggle, let the algorithm know what's going on over here by poking that like button right in the eye. Man, we got to get to it. I got my hard hat on. We got to talk about it. Let's look at this game just for a second, or a couple seconds, a minute. It's going to be about 20 minutes. I can talk about it, man. The numbers indicate that Alabama did not have a general shooting failure versus who's the name? People that keep beating us. Michigan. God, it was a tale of two halves, man. The Crimson Tide shot enough to lead the game by 2 points. And what's up to my TikTok audience out here? At halftime, we led 49-47, driven by 9 3-pointers in the first 20 minutes of the game. However, the offense went cold. Our hot, blazing hot offense went cold, shooting just 4 from 15 from the field. You know, Michigan imposed its will on us. Man, they dropped that hat on us. It was hard to deal with, man. It's like we tried to just keep shooting from outside. It was like, no. But man, we can go here. No. They wouldn't let us do it. LeBaron Fallon was spectacular in his last game for Crimson Tide. That guy's definitely got to be moving on to the NFL. Oh, man, he had 35 points, man. Shout out to him. Thank you, Roll Tide. Thank you for staying one more year. That guy should be on to my Lakers, and we can make the rest of you suckers haters again. Anyway, but Latrell Wright-Sale, he struggled. And other key shooters like him, but he only went 3 for 10 from beyond the arc. Now, my man is a mathematician. I'm not a mathematician, but I do know something about statistics. I just thought to myself as a strategy, and I wish I had brought my brother on, but he was charging too much to come on my show. He said I do it I just couldn't pay him. Alabama, I said, why don't we just shoot 2-pointers instead of 3-pointers and we win the game? And then people are saying that Alabama could not have simply switched to more 2-point shots. So I need to stop saying something so ignorant, because Michigan's defensive strategy specifically targeted the paint. The Wolverines utilized their massive size. They were big. These wasn't your ordinary men. You know, this wasn't no Wolverines. He was like the real Wolverines from the X-Men, including 7'3" Dave Morrow, the funnel drivers in the lane into the interior defense, and he protected the rim along with another dude that was 7 feet tall. So you can go in there Oh, yeah. You can go on in there, but you don't know if you're going to make it out with 2 points. So Michigan's defense effectively shut down Alabama, transitioning the game from a fast-paced track meet into a physical street fight for which we were not prepared. That physically allowed Michigan to dominate the paint, just like they dominated us in the doggone Rose Bowl a couple years back. Like they dominated us in that stupid bowl we lost at the end of the boys' first season. I'm tired of getting dominated by Michigan, man. I think I'm going to just ride up there and go to Detroit. But outside, like, go to Ann Arbor and just pick a fight with somebody. I'm going to Ann Arbor, pick a fight with somebody. I'm tired of getting dominated by these folks. But they dominated, man. They prevented easy rim finishes that Nate Oats' system requires. You must shoot the ball within 3 feet of the rim. Not 7, not 8, not 12, 3. But if you stand next to doggone Shaquille O'Neal, Victor Wembanyama, you probably want to back up a little bit. So anyway, it just didn't work out. A lot of people have been talking about why Alabama fell apart. Nate Oats said they kind of just destroyed us on the effort, the toughness in the second half. Part of that was due to their size and the physicality. Look at their starting 3, 4, 5. They doubled us up on the glass. They had twice as many rebounds on defensive rebounds than we did, and a lot of that because we kind of got sniped last year. After the season was over, people came in there and they took a lot of players away from the Tide. And I think we were blindsided by that. Ricel said, he just felt like the edge from them was really good at the start of the second half, and that we didn't have an edge. We didn't start the game in the second half with an edge. Theodore Fernandez of Sports Illustrated analyst, he said Alabama's shooting 35.1 from beyond the arc this season. That's far below an elite level forecast. We just shoot them, but we don't make them very well. That sounds like that's on the coach too. And he continued to say, Mr. Fernandez, that it's hard to shoot when you take too many contested shots. See, if you got them leapers in your face, as they say, my high school coach, I didn't play basketball, but they say Coach Washington would say, when them leapers get in your face, it's hard to shoot. Another person, the columnist you may have heard of, Kevin Skarbinski, said that the Crimson Tide has shown little consistency game to game. And we saw that all year. I've been complaining about that. They need to show major improvement if they plan to compete for a real title. I mean, that's even a SEC conference championship, a regular season, or, these guys at Tennessee, these guys at Florida, these guys, what's another team? These guys out here putting it up. Well, Kentucky, of course, and even Arkansas, they're doing some things. We got to get better. College basketball analyst Dan Dockich, he said Alabama lives by the 3, but dies by, I know you thought I was going to say 3. He said we die by the defensive rebound. When we don't have the size to match up in the paint during a cold stretch, the game disappears in 5 minutes. And that's what happened. In the first 5 minutes of that second half of that game against Michigan, they went up by like 8 or 12 or something like that, and it was over. Wasn't no coming back. Another guy that I really respect, Jay Billis, ESPN analyst, one of the few people on ESPN I can listen to consistently from week to week to week. I don't watch a lot of basketball though, so maybe I shouldn't listen to him. But he said Nate Oats' system has a system that works until you meet a disciplined interior defense. Without a secondary playing to score at the rim against 7-footers, the margin for error becomes non-existent. I gotta agree with that. If you take it in there, if you're saying 3 feet or 20 feet 9 inches, you got to come up with something, man. I just think the size was just too much in that game and some other games. Seth Davis, from the field of 68, he said Alabama's reliance on the analytics of the three-pointer creates a volatility that's too hard to sustain in March. Been saying this boy's tired. Once Michigan closed the perimeter, Alabama looked stranded without an interior presence. Because you remember when we had the guy we got from North Dakota, we had another guy on the inside of defense, and they really overplayed themselves. They were the team that went to the doggone Final Four, if I'm not mistaken. When those guys got out of here and they decided to go to Tennessee, somebody went here, somebody went there, we was lost. We were left with a bunch of skinny, tall dudes. Nobody with no muscle. But and one more quote, Jeff Goodman said the lack of a true post allows the teams like Michigan to pin their ears back and sell out on the perimeter. It's not just a shooting issue, it's a personnel mismatch in physical games. So the core issue that Alabama's had all year and really is going to have in every tournament we get into, Alabama's just suffering from a combination of size and strategy issues than just a simple lack of shooting talent. We don't need no more shooters, man. I mean, I like this LeBaron Furlong came through there. I think you got to have one of those. One and then one behind him 2 years later. You got to keep that. But just everybody just shooting. No, man. Coach Oats noted that Michigan's interior size allowed them to out-rebound Alabama 25-12. Do you hear me? 25-12 in the second half. That's a lot. Wiping out any second chance opportunities. So you miss long, you miss that rebound. Oh, where's everybody else? Oh, standing on the perimeter waiting to take the shot. But I'm thinking when the shot goes up, shouldn't two people be going to the boards? That's just me. The team also faced significant adversity through the season, finishing with 10 losses due to inconsistent effort and interior defensive lapses. While the roster is fast and skilled, they often struggle with that blue-collar stats, the rebound and the defensive toughness. This is that man who brought the hard hat to the school. Why is that not there? Teams that were just capable of slowing down the tempo killed us. I point to our early exit of the SEC tournament. This is what happens. Coach Oats is, man, it's time to reinstill the hard hat culture, man, across every level of this program. The grit must begin in the recruiting and targeting athletes who just, their priority is toughness and interior defense over flashy perimeter play. Like I said, you got to have somebody do it, but you can't have 5 of them out there doing it. Training sessions need to mirror the physicality of the SEC to ensure that the squad never gets out muscled on the glass ever again. Finally, that blue-collar mentality must be evident on game day through relentless rebounds and defensive stops. We've been missing it all year. Now, I appreciate what he's done. I ain't trying to get rid of nobody, nothing like that, but he can't go and give me some of that money back so I can go get me another defensive lineman. Anyway, but by embracing that hard hat philosophy that you brought to this school, from the scouting to the final buzzer, Alabama can eliminate the volatility that hampers us in the March Madness and in the SEC tournament. Bring back the toughness that defines the Tide so that this team can outwork anybody in the paint. I don't mind dropping some little 2-3 point close games to big teams, but just not even closing the 10-point gap in March is crazy. I know it's got to be easier. I'm no basketball guy, but it has to be easier to teach a good shooter how to be a great shooter than it is to pump toughness into some young guy's chest who think he's just got it all figured out. So I say seek out good players, Coach Oats, that have great intensity, especially on both sides of the ball, really. Now, speaking of Coach Oats and what's been going on, there was recent noise about this man getting up out of here. Yeah, they say he was leaving. Yeah, they said, Coach Oats going to get out of here and be up there in North Carolina. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the Boo Bird's out, I know. But Greg Burns came in and he shut that down. Greg Burns said he ain't going nowhere. He came through like doggone Terry Thomas coming around the corner, slapped the microphone down and tackled whoever was talking. He had he said he's not going nowhere, man. So Oaks is staying right there in Tuscaloosa because he knows the grass isn't greener. It's just waiting to be mowed down by the Tide football. That's all. We've made 4 straight Sweet 16. That man can do whatever you want to do. I remember when Sweet 16 was the goal. I mean, we were so happy to see Whip Sampson get to. We were so happy. I go to school, like, we made this. That was it. We know that was it. That was the end of that weekend. I don't know if Coach Sanderson ever got to the. I don't know if he ever got to Wimp. Did he ever get to this grade 8? I'm not. Maybe 1 year. But you want to think this program is slowing down. It's delusional. We're going to talk about that Michigan. We talked about the Michigan game, and they were exactly what they were, who we thought they were. You know what I'm saying? We knew what our Warriors, when it came to playing basketball, were all about. They played with some heart, but they didn't have enough heart to secure enough defensive rebounds. And when the NCAA got us with that Bediako thing, I think we really got ourselves, and he got himself. Maybe he shouldn't have left, and maybe we'd have won the doggone Final Four when we got in. I think he was a part of that time, but that whole thing was a bureaucratic headache, and it was a joke. You know what I'm saying? It did cost us 13 rebounds, so and maybe a trip to the Elite Eight. But because remember, 25-12 plus he'll been 25-25. He got 13. We could have won that game, possibly. But they don't say to themselves, we have to get bigger, meaner, more dominant in the paint. But Coach, I have to ask, is that your job? But I think, and where it is, Coach, he's going to have more cash to do it. Oh, yeah, I like the money. Let's just hope we don't send this man to the store to get some some big guys to play in the middle. He come back with some guys that are original pygmies with great court vision. Some guys that go come in there like, hey man, throw me the ball, man. Play, man, ball up, fool. No, you can't win talent with a gourmet backcourt if you got a fast food front court that gets bullied by 7-footers. We're done watching teams impose their real will on us in the second half because, we ran out of size. That's one reason that, we should lost to Auburn so much. Look at their team. It was always bigger than ours. The blue collar points were there in the first half, but the lack of depth just turned into the second half into a track meet that we couldn't finish. Oats is already adapting because, that's what winners do. He is a winner and he's doing well. But, he's not making any excuses, and he even said it. So experts are out there saying Alabama basketball was cutting edge, but we need to adapt again to muscle past the best. They call it modern basketball, but it requires that, you bring in, you got to bring the pain in the trenches to get to that hardware, So, we have all the analytics in place, but now, we got to add just pure, reckless aggression to that team. Something that defines Tide athletics in general. We're not just shooting threes. We're going to start breaking wheels under the rim. Send folks packing. Get some of that Matumbo action going. So the 2026 signing class, is packed with 6'6" hybrids who are going to strangle the perimeter, hopefully own the glass. But we're targeting the portal monsters who can come in, protect the rim, and leave bruises on anybody that, just brave enough to come into the lane. Hell, if he ain't busy, I say go get Jaden Roberts. He got to have 2 years of eligibility left. That's a former Tide offensive lineman. The man, he can give you 15 minutes on the court because anybody that can squat 900 pounds has to be able to box out on the block. And that's exactly what Alabama needs. Greg Burns understands the mission, and Nate Oats has the keys to the entire state. That's right. Because other side of the state, they ain't hitting on nothing. There is no reason to look at the blue bloods when we are developing a new shade of crimson that is far more dangerous. Everyone wants to talk about the recent past, but I'm looking at the near future with, my eyes are red when I think about it. And I'm filled with a vendetta against everybody that beat us. 2026 was supposed to be the year, but I ain't see it early. We were losing to too many good teams early when, we played that non-conference schedule. But they just have to get that consistency going. And we are in need of retooling completely under the baskets. The critics love to point out that, the defensive slips by Alabama. They forget, though, we did pretty good on the offense. You know what I'm saying? He can make some tweaks to the offense. We can be right back there again. Once we add muscle to the math, then the rest of the college basketball world is in serious trouble. So we are tired of hearing about the Final Four is the ceiling. We can't get past these people because, it's time to go in and just keep the roof off the entire arena in the next tournament. So give them time. So if you're not wearing crimson, you are just an obstacle in the way to the inevitable. The way 2026 ended, it wasn't really a collapse. It was kind of the same the whole year, but it was a blueprint for the destruction we are about to unleash on the rest of the SEC and beyond. We took our lumps, we've identified the weakness, and now we're going to eliminate it with surgical precision. Coach Oats, you have the con. You got caught off guard with last year's departures, but hopefully the lessons have been learned and heeded. If you think Sweet 16 X is going to make somebody going to just focus on football, then we're going to do this, especially not right here on Tight Sports. We're going to keep staying behind this university. You have to understand the DNA of this university. We are rearming. We're going to get bigger, and we are coming for everything that these other people hold dear in college basketball. I think he has a little bit what it takes to get over the hump, to consistently make it to Final Fours. But the way this season ended, it was a lesson in physicality that we will never have to learn again. So next year, I don't care who we got to do, who we got to pay. We are not just competing. We are going to be crushing every team that stands between us and the Final Four appearance. I can't promise anybody a championship in that crazy tournament. But we finished the season with our heads held high, with our fence clenched tighter than ever before. The journey ended in March, but the preparation for 2027 has already started.
And the winds, and the rains, it's a crimson obsession. 4 quarters of pain, yeah, we teaching a lesson. Overpowering offense, we run through the soul. Dominating defense, yeah, we in total control. From the number 15 spot to the team at the top. When that tide starts rolling, it's impossible to stop. It's impossible to stop. Check the history books, check the rings on the hand. Coach Bryant built the blueprint, the king of the land. Gene Stallings had him locked, Antonio Langham on the prowl. Defense so ferocious, make a grown man howl. Curry the calling, yeah, the connection was lethal. We've been doing this for decades, we ain't got no equal. Joe, name up with the swag, Kenny Stabler with the vision. Every play we execute is a surgical incision. Now we talking modern era, Coach being the goal. Built the factory of winners, kept the dynasty afloat. Julio Jones on the sideline, a literal freak. Dominating every Sunday, every Saturday of the week. 100 gridiron warriors, all molded in the fire. While the opposing head coaches looking ready to retire. We drive them to the brink, watch them lose their mind. You can try to keep up, but you're falling behind. Banner wins, banner reigns, it's a crimson obsession. 4 quarters of pain, yeah, we teaching a lesson. Overpowering offense, we run through the soul. Dominating defense, yeah, we in total control. From the number 15 spot to the team at the top. When the tide starts rolling, it's impossible to stop. It's impossible to stop. The heads is coming off, the coach is turning red. He's seeing crimson ghosts, he's hearing what we said. There's no exit strategy, there's no place to run. The nightmare doesn't end until the clock says done. Roll Tide, what's the score? Roll Tide, give us more. Roll Tide, close the door. Alabama win. Is he gonna? Man, that's just a Tuesday. We turn your homecoming into a dark.